How did you afford that? Are you sure that's a good idea? Who do you think you are now? Do not start explaining. Give one clean answer, then stop. These questions sound different, but they often push you toward the same mistake. Proving that your money, decisions, growth, or success deserves someone else's approval. There are 5 common versions of this question, and one 3-step response handles all of them. Answer test close. First, answer the surface question once, one fact, one sentence. No nervous laugh, no extra history. If they accept the answer, the conversation is over. If they keep pressing, test the question, ask, why do you ask? Or, what specifically concerns you? A genuine question becomes clearer. A loaded question stays vague. If they still keep pushing, close the subject. I've already answered that. I keep that private. You don't have to agree. One awkward question does not prove jealousy. The real signal is what happens after you answer. Curiosity accepts information. The proof trap rejects every answer until you sound unsure. Remember the rule. Answer once. Test the pressure. Close the subject. Now watch how it works in 5 real situations. Question 1. How did you afford that? You buy a car after saving for 2 years, or you replace an old phone, or wear something nice to an event. Before they say congratulations, they ask about the money. Most people immediately build a defense. It was on sale. I saved for a long time. It really wasn't that expensive. Now the purchase is no longer your decision. It has become a financial hearing, and you are providing evidence. Do this instead. Say, I planned for it. Then stop. If they ask how much it cost, how much you earn, or whether you can afford it, test the question. Why do you ask? A normal person may explain that they are considering the same product good. Now the question has a purpose. But if they keep digging, close the subject. I keep financial details private. Normal voice, relaxed face, no apology. You answered without opening your private life for inspection. Question 2. Are you sure that's a good idea? Maybe you are changing jobs, moving to another city, returning to school, starting a business, or leaving a relationship that has been draining you. The common mistake is trying to remove every objection. You explain your savings, research, backup plan, timeline, and every reason behind the decision. The more you explain, the more the conversation sounds like a request for permission. Answer once. Yes, I've considered the risk. If they continue, test the concern. What specifically concerns you? Real concern can name something useful, the cost, the timing, a contract you should read, a risk you may have missed. Vague pressure sounds different. I just don't know. It seems risky. I wouldn't do it. That is not information. That is someone handing you their fear and asking you to carry it. Take useful information. Do not absorb vague fear. When you have heard enough, close the subject. I've made my decision. You do not need to make another person feel safe before you are allowed to move forward. Question 3. Who do you think you are? Or the softer version. You've changed. You start saying no without writing a paragraph. You stop accepting jokes that always land on you. You speak more directly. You no longer cancel your plans every time someone else needs something. Then a person who understood the old version of you treats the change like evidence against you. The common mistake is rushing to reassure them. I'm still the same. I'm not trying to act better. I didn't mean it like that. But sometimes you have changed. That is the point, so answer the fact. I have changed. If they keep pushing, test the accusation. Which change are you referring to? Make them name the actual behavior. Maybe they have a legitimate concern. Maybe you have become dismissive or unreliable. Then you can deal with that specific behavior. But if the problem is simply that you now say no, speak clearly, or refuse old disrespect, close the subject. That change was intentional. No speech about becoming your highest self. No attack on them, just a fact. You've changed. Only works as an insult when you are ashamed of changing. Question 4. Isn't that a little much? Maybe you dress well for an event. Celebrate a promotion. Post a qualification you worked months to complete. Or allow yourself to look excited about something good. Then someone reframes your celebration as attention-seeking. The common mistake is correcting your happiness to remove their discomfort. You delete the post, change in the outfit, lower your voice, or say, it wasn't a big deal. Answer once. I wanted to celebrate it. Or simply, I like it. If they continue, test the judgment. Too much in what way? Say it with curiosity, not sarcasm. If they cannot explain anything beyond their personal discomfort, close the subject. You don't have to like it. That sentence does not force them to approve. It simply makes their opinion optional. Their discomfort is information. It is not an instructions. The final question sounds polite, but it can quietly erase years of work. Question 5. Did someone help you with that? This question can be completely normal. Most worthwhile work involves support. The signal appears when someone hears what you accomplished and immediately searches for another person to credit. You finish a major project, earn a promotion, build something valuable, and your first instinct is false modesty. I just got lucky. It was mostly everyone else. I barely did anything. Now, politeness has turned into self-erasure. Answer accurately. I led the work. Or, I worked hard on it. If other people contributed, include them without deleting yourself. The team supported the rollout, and I led the project. If the person still acts surprised, test the question. What makes you ask? Then listen. Maybe they genuinely want to understand the process. Maybe they assume the project required a larger team. That is useful context. But if they keep relocating your contribution to luck, connections, or someone else's talent, close the subject. That was my contribution. Claiming credit is not taking credit from other people. The goal is accuracy, not false modesty, not exaggerated ownership. Now put the full response together. You tell someone you accepted a new job. They say, "Are you sure that's smart?" You answer, "Yes. I've considered it." They continue, "But what if it fails?" Now you test the question. What specific risk do you think I missed? If they name a real issue, consider it. But imagine they say, "I don't know. I just think you're being unrealistic." Now you have your answer. There is no useful information to discuss. Closest the subject. I've made my decision. Then change the subject. Do not deliver another speech. Do not watch their face to see whether they approve. The protocol is complete. You answered. You tested. You closed. Do not label someone jealous because of one imperfect question. Watch the pattern. Every purchase becomes an interrogation. Every decision becomes a warning. Every change becomes arrogance. Every celebration becomes attention-seeking. Every achievement somehow belongs to someone else. When the same person repeatedly turns your good news into self-doubt, stop giving them early access. Share the plan after the decision is made. Share the result after the work is finished. Keep financial details private. Celebrate with people who can hear good news without immediately reducing it. If they ask why you did not tell them earlier, say, "I decided to keep this private until it was done." That is not punishment. It is information control. Remember the response. Answer once. Test vague pressure, closest the subject. You do not need to prove that someone is jealous. You only need to notice when every answer becomes another demand for proof. Which of these 5 questions have you heard most often?